We are just months away from chick season, so I want to make sure that you are fully prepared for your new chicks this spring. And that's why today we're going to talk about 10 things to know before you buy your chickens. All right, number one today is going to be know your rules and regulations. Before you even think about getting chicks, especially if this is your first time getting them, go to your city's website or whatever you need to do, city hall, wherever you need to go, and check the rules and regulations for your area for chickens. A lot of places, especially in cities, urban areas, suburban areas, places like that, they have rules and regulations about how you can keep your chickens. In a lot of areas, they have rules around your chicken coop, your chicken run, how they want those built. They also have rules where they don't allow roosters or crowing hens. Everyone's gonna be a little bit different with their rules and regulations, so make sure you check yours first. When we bought this house, it actually came with the chickens, and that was the first time we had ever had chickens, so it came with it, we weren't worried about it. And then what happened is we ended up upgrading our chicken coop and chicken run, and at that point we had the city knocking on our door telling us that we were out of regulation with our coop and run. We ended up having to tear everything down and rebuild it within the regulation. It ended up losing us quite a bit of money and quite a bit of time, and honestly, if we would have just checked the rules and regulations before we built our new coop, we would have not been in that mess in the first place. Number two is chickens aren't cheap. Don't get fooled when you walk into your Tractor Supply or wherever you're gonna get your chicks and you see that the chicks are only $2. I promise you, this is probably the cheapest thing you're gonna pay for the entire time you have chickens. Chicks are really cheap, but everything that goes along with them might not be. Just to get started, you wanna make sure you have a brooder, and this is to get them from a little chick stage, to get them feathered out, grow them up enough to where you can put them out in the coop. And this can be something as simple as like a box with a light, or you can do what we did and get a big tote and turn that into a brooder. We have a video on that, I'll put that down in the description below. And when they're chicks, they need the heat lamps, they need all that to keep them warm. And then after that, a chicken coop itself, depending on how many chickens you have, is not cheap. Even if you're building it yourself, if you're building it for a decent amount of chickens, you're looking at upwards of hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. And then if you buy a kit coop, it can be even more expensive than that. You can really be up there, high hundreds, into the thousands, even 2,000. It gets really, really expensive. What we ended up doing is we got on the KSL, which is our local classifieds. We found this shed that's back here, and we ended up turning it into a coop, and that did save us quite a bit of money. We were able to get a really good deal on the shed, so that's definitely an option. We also have a video on that, and I'll put that down in the description as well. Chicken coops in general cost a lot of money. You have their feed, which can cost a lot of money. Depending on the time of year or the brand of food that you're getting, it can be anywhere between like $12 and $20 just for a bag of food. A lot of people get into chickens because they want cheaper eggs, and especially right now, I fully understand the eggs are skyrocketing, and in some places you can't even find them. Even here in Utah, the prices of eggs are just through the roof, but we really do still pay more for the eggs that we're getting from our chickens. But with that being said, it's worth it. Honestly, it really is worth it. The eggs that you're getting from your own backyard chickens, you know where they came from, you know what they're eating. They taste better. It's a better feeling when you eat those eggs than you get from a store-bought eggs. I wouldn't change it for the world. I have no problem paying the extra money for these eggs, and hopefully you don't either. Number three is gonna be predators. Everything wants to eat your chickens, and I'm talking raccoons, skunks, cats, dogs, possums, snakes, bears, coyotes, whatever else you get in your area. Anything that eats meat is gonna wanna eat your chickens. And so it's really important to secure your coop, and that can be done in a few different ways. A lot of people, they have their coop itself, which is completely tight and safe from predators, but then you have your run, and that's a little bit more difficult to secure that from predators, because it's not just animals that are down on the ground walking on all fours. You gotta worry about birds up in the sky as well. Any bird of prey is gonna want to eat your chickens. So you gotta do a couple things. You want to make sure that your chicken run is completely enclosed, so with at the very least some fencing up at the top. You wanna make sure that down on the bottom, nothing can dig under it. So a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll bury like cinder blocks down there, or maybe they'll even dig in some fencing. You can even put a fencing skirt around your coop. You just wanna make sure there's no possible way for a predator to get into your coop. This is something that's happened to us not just once, but a couple times. When we first moved in, the run that they were in wasn't very safe, and for the first year we had chickens, we did lose quite a few chickens to raccoons actually, and as much as we tried to secure that coop and run setup, it was impossible to keep them out. Those animals are smart, and so are a lot of other animals, and they can get into your coop if it's not properly secured. So you don't want to go spend a ton of money on getting all of this set up and put all that work into growing these chicks and getting the eggs from them just to have them killed off by a predator. So make sure you are properly securing your coop so nothing can get in. Number 4 is going to be laying fluctuations. Chickens aren't just 24/7 egg laying machines that give you eggs all throughout the year, and you'll learn that pretty quickly after getting them. After you get your chicks, you have to raise them up for quite a long time, almost into the fall, before they actually start laying eggs, and then right after that, they're gonna stop laying eggs as soon as winter comes if you live in that type of climate. As soon as the days start to get shorter, those birds are gonna stop laying. And I know that a lot of beginners, that's news to you. In the fall, they also go through molting, and they won't be laying eggs when they're molting. If they're stressed out, they won't be laying eggs, and there's a whole lot of triggers that can make them stop laying eggs. eggs. There are some of them that are just natural that will be happening every single year. And then there's others that aren't as natural, and you can actually help with those. We made a video about different reasons your chickens might not be laying. If you're interested in that, that will be down in the description below. Number 5, it is so cold out here. Number 5 is gonna be chicken math. And chicken math is a very real thing that if you've been in the chicken community for any amount of time, you know about chicken math. And that means you might start out with X amount of chickens, and within a couple of years, you're gonna have double, triple, quadruple that. Chickens are very addicting, and that's a good thing. That should reassure you that you getting chickens is a good idea. Once you get them and realize how easy it is and how rewarding they are and how they make you feel, how you enjoy getting your eggs, all of that will make you want to get more chickens. A lot of people will start out with 2 or 3 chickens, and within the first couple of years, they're at like 10 or 12 chickens. So it adds up very, very quickly. You're just going to want to get more and more. My recommendation for you is going to be, if you have a number in your head, let's say you want 6 total chickens. If you want 6 total chickens, maybe the first year get 2 or 3. And then the year after that, get 2 or 3 more. And then the year after that, get 2 or 3 more. And what that does is chickens' egg production will slow down as they get older. So if you stagger the years that you're getting those chickens to get to the number that you want, you're gonna have egg-laying hens for longer. And I know you might wanna just jump in and get all 6, but I promise you, if you get all 6 that first year, the next year, you're gonna have at least 10. That's just how it is. It's addicting, we love it, and you're gonna love it too. Number 6 is gonna be consider the climate you live in. Different chicken breeds are gonna be better for different climates. Some are gonna be better for hot climates and some better for cold climates. So you wanna make sure you do your research on that before getting your chickens. And then after that, you wanna think about what type of coop you're gonna have, because the coops are gonna look a little bit different in the tropics versus here in Utah where we have a really cold winter. Here in Utah, we wanna make sure we have a well-insulated coop that we can keep really, really warm in the winter. Well, over in, let's say, Florida, you wanna have a coop that is extremely ventilated, a bunch of screening, as much airflow as possible. You wanna keep that coop as cool as you possibly can all throughout the year. So the coop setups are gonna be quite a bit different depending on where you live. So maybe if you're unsure on what kind of coop you should be getting, how your coop should look, maybe jump onto Facebook if you have a Facebook, or any kind of maybe forum of local people. So many geese. Maybe a forum of local people that keep chickens in your area, and kind of talk to them and see what different things they need to do to keep chickens in the climate that you live in. Everywhere is kind of a bit different, and what works here in Utah isn't going to work out there in Florida. So take climate into consideration before you get your chicks. Number 7 is gonna be secret/surprise roosters. Most people want hens. You're not really looking to go get roosters unless you're looking to actually fertilize your eggs and create more chickens. Roosters are loud, they're kind of mean, they're big, they attack kids. I wouldn't want a rooster. When you go to get your chicks from the store, you have a 10% chance of that chick being a rooster. They do their best to make sure they are all hens, but every once in a while you will get a rooster. It has not happened to me, but there is that 10% chance, and they do warn you about that when you get your hens. You might be telling yourself that, hey, if I get a rooster, I'll just rehome it. Well, it's not so easy because nobody else wants a rooster either. So you go to sell your rooster or even give it away, and nobody's gonna want it because nobody wants that rooster. And a lot of cities, including mine, don't allow you to have roosters or crowing hens. Roosters specifically, if I were to bring a rooster home, I'd have the city knocking on my door telling me to get rid of it, and then pretty much my only option would be to really try to find somewhere to give it to, or maybe even butcher it. Depends on what I could come up with. There's not a lot of options if you do have a rooster and you can't have one, so make sure you have a plan of what you're gonna do if that happens. Hey, real quick, if you're getting value from this video, go down and hit the like button and consider subscribing to our channel. We really appreciate it. My fingers aren't working. Number 8 is gonna be chicken noise, and even your hens. It's not just roosters that are loud, hens can be loud too. Anytime I come outside here with like my bag of grub terra, the treats that I give them, anytime I come out with those, they are just squawking at me, yelling, screaming, or let's say I come out here to hang out with my kids, they are still going to be squawking at me to come over and feed them or water them or whatever they want. If they see you, they're social animals, believe it or not. They're social and they want to hang out with you, or they just want food from you and they know that you are their food source. So when you come outside, they're going to squawk, they're going to yell, they're going to be loud. It doesn't bother us. It might bother my neighbors a little bit, but it doesn't bother us. If you have maybe some tension with your neighbors, or maybe you live really close house to house and you don't want to have really loud chickens in your backyard, chickens might not be for you. I know that sucks, I'm sorry, but they can be loud. Not all the time, but chickens can be loud, even the hens. If it was me and it was within the rules to get the chickens, I wouldn't care if I made my neighbors mad, just do it anyways. Number 9 is gonna be what it takes to care for your chickens. Chickens need 4 main things. That is food, water, shelter, and protection from predators. If you have those 4 things, you're golden. kind of. There's other things, but those are the 4 main things. When I was a kid growing up, we had rats as pets, and they lived in this cage, and they multi-tier cage. It was super awesome as a kid. As an adult, I wouldn't want them because they are just nasty, gross. You gotta clean out the cage once a week, and it was nasty. Chickens are gonna be different. Yes, they live in a cage of sorts, I guess, but with their bedding, you don't have to change their bedding out all the time. They're gonna be pooping onto their bedding, and then you put more bedding on top of that. They're gonna poop on it more, put more bedding on top of that, and then once every 6 months, go out there and take it out, put it in the garden. Chickens are extremely easy to care for. There's not really a whole lot to it. You keep them fed, watered, make sure you do all the basic stuff, and they just kind of hang out and take care of themselves. One good thing is, I know a lot of people don't have the option of letting their chickens roam and free range. Actually, here at my place, we're technically not allowed to free range our chickens. So we have a run, and then if we're outside hanging out, we'll open their run door and let them hang out in the backyard with us, and they love it. They'll run around and prance, and it's adorable. Like I said, they're social animals. They want to be out and hanging out and playing, but for the most part, you can keep them in their chicken run in their coop, and they'll be okay. Just make sure they have the basics. Speaking of chicken poop, number 10 is going to be that chickens poop. Chickens poop a lot, like a lot. They're going to be pooping on their roost, they're going to be pooping on their bedding, they're going to be pooping in their nesting boxes. They poop everywhere, but it's not a big deal. Realistically, you want to get in there and clean it off their roost and out of their nesting boxes, but aside from that, you don't have to do a whole lot. What we do here is in the spring, I put in brand new bedding, and then they poop all over that, and then I just keep adding more and more and more bedding all throughout the entire year. So that way by the next spring, I take that whole shed back there, I take their whole coop full of that bedding, and I put it in the garden, and it is an amazing fertilizer. Chicken manure is a great fertilizer for the garden. So if you have a garden, utilize that chicken manure for your garden. It's gold, and you don't want to waste it, so don't waste it. Use it all. I think one of the biggest surprises for new chicken owners is going to be that they just stop laying eggs for any given reason. If you go watch this video right here, we're going to go over 9 different reasons your chickens might have stopped laying eggs. We talk about why they might have stopped and how to fix it if you can identify that that's the reason that they stopped. So go watch that video, and I'll see you over there.